Now, for more on the Apple-Amazon showdown, earlier I spoke with Piper Jaffray senior research analyst Gene Munster, who covers both companies. I asked him what we can expect from Amazon's new tablet.
I guess starting with the name, yes, we do believe it's going to be called the Kindle Fire. And in terms of what it's going to look like, it's going to be more like a tablet than like an e-reader. It actually wasn't designed by the people at Amazon who do the Kindle. It was designed by an outside group. And so it's going to look a lot like, or looks a lot like, the Playbook from RIM, so 7 inches. And the question that I haven't seen yet is how they're going to deal with this, the e-ink that they do so well with the Kindle. Are they going to be able to pull that off with the type of screen that this has? That's going to be the thing that I'm most interested in seeing how this plays. But think of this as the Playbook from Research in Motion, but for Amazon.
What do we know about some of the features? Will it include Amazon Prime, for example, and what would the benefits of that be?
I think it will include Amazon Prime, and I think that the cost for Amazon to do that's relatively small, but to offer that for 1 year. But we've done research on this, and typically someone who uses Amazon Prime spends about double what a typical person who doesn't use Amazon Prime. So I think this is a good way for them to shift how people think about Amazon to that's the first place you go on the internet to buy something when they get Prime. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they tie Amazon Prime into this.
Now, in the tablet market, it's basically been the iPad versus everything else. Can an Amazon tablet really be a true rival, a true competitor to the iPad?
The simple answer is no, is that this is going to be a player that will have reasonable market share. The way we think about it is Apple has about 90% market share in the tablet today. Next year, we estimate that that's going to decline to 60%, so decline meaningfully, but we still think there's upside to these street iPad numbers because the market's going to expand so much. But that other 30 or 40%, we think that this device can be a player. And the biggest feature with the Kindle Fire is the price, the $250 price. We just surveyed 410 consumers, and 60% of them said they would obviously like to buy something less expensive than more expensive, despite the high price of the iPad relative to this. So I think that there's definitely a market for this. We don't think it's going to impact the iPad, but we do believe that this is going to get some traction in terms of market share.
So, Gene, how would you describe the iPad's market position? Is the iPad at all vulnerable, or is its dominant market position completely secure?
We're going to find out a lot when we actually see the Kindle Fire and look at the features and actually get to play around with the product. And so I think that will determine that. As it stands today, if the reception of the Fire, the features of the Fire, is similar to some of the other competitors, I think that their market share or their position in the market, the iPad's position, is not going to be challenged.
Now, Apple has officially announced an iPhone event on October 4th. What's going to happen on October 4th? Is it the iPhone 5, and what's it going to look like?
It's the iPhone 5. It's likely going to be slightly slimmer and a little bit bigger of a screen. Some of the case manufacturers are already out with cases. They didn't want to have a repeat of this Antenna-Gate that they had last when iPhone 4 came out. So we can kind of get an idea of what iPhone 5 looks like. We believe that they'll take iPhone 4 and still keep that around and lower the price on that for people who want to pay a little bit less. But I think this is going to be really the key to the October 4th event is iPhone 5. Also, they'll announce new iPods, which it's only 8% of their business today, so not a lot of people care. But obviously, the big focus is going to be iPhone 5.
Now, we've been hearing that Facebook may announce an iPad app at this event as well. What have you been hearing about this?
Well, definitely the iOS is going to be one of the big focuses on October 4th. A lot of the features and functionality of Apple's this new iOS. They also have this iCloud feature which is going to go live, and so on just in the beginning of October. So there's a lot coming on the operating system side. So we wouldn't be surprised to see something like Facebook out there. It's long overdue for Facebook to have an iPad app. What that really speaks to us is that if you look at the app community right now, it continues to outpace the Android app community at about 3 to 1. So this is yet another example of a much-needed and long-anticipated app, which we'll probably see next week.
And lastly, Gene, we've seen conflicting reports from JP Morgan analysts that Apple has cut its orders by 25% for the iPad. What are you hearing? Is that actually happening? And why can't these JP Morgan analysts agree?
well, we don't think that that's happening. I mean, what we do believe, we were just in China 2 weeks ago, and all the stuff that was talked about yesterday was things that were talked about that have been talked about for a while. So this is, in my opinion, it's old news. What's going on is Hanhai is shifting some of its production to Brazil. And so that the Asia unit numbers don't necessarily tie into the overall iPad unit numbers because of the change in production. So that's what's being missed here, and we continue to believe the street numbers are too low for iPad for December.
Hanhai, otherwise known as Foxconn, is the Asia/Brazil-based producer of the iPad. That was Gene Munster there of Piper Jaffray.